They brought Jesus to a place called Golgotha, which means place of the skull. They offered him wine drugged with myrrh, but he refused it.
Then the soldiers nailed him to the cross. They divided his clothes and threw dice to decide who would get each piece. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him.
A sign announced the charge against him. It read, "The King of the Jews." 2 revolutionaries were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left.
The people passing by shouted abuse, shaking their heads in mockery. "Ha! Look at you now," they yelled at him. "You said you were going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Well then, save yourself and come down from the cross."
The leading priests and teachers of religious law also mocked Jesus. He saved others, they said, but he can't save himself. Let this Messiah, this King of Israel, come down from the cross and we can see it and believe him. Even the men crucified with Jesus ridiculed him.
At noon, darkness fell across the whole land until 3 o'clock. Then, at 3 o'clock, Jesus called out with a loud voice, my God, why have you abandoned me?"
Then Jesus uttered another loud cry and breathed his last. And the curtain in the sanctuary of the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom.
When the Roman officer who stood facing him saw how he had died, he exclaimed, "This man truly was the Son of God."
Some women were there, watching from a distance, including Mary Magdalene. They had been followers of Jesus and had cared for him whilst he was in Galilee.
As evening approached, Joseph of Arimathea took a risk and went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body.
Joseph brought a long sheet of linen cloth. Then he took Jesus' body down from the cross. He wrapped it in the cloth and laid it in a tomb that had been carved out of rock.
Then he rolled a stone in front of the entrance. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Joseph, saw where Jesus' body was laid.
Early on Sunday morning, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and found that the stone had been rolled away from the entrance. She ran and found Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved.
She said, "They have taken the Lord's body out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him."
Peter and the other disciple started out for the tomb. They were both running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first.
He stooped and looked in and saw the linen wrappings lying there, but he didn't go in.
Then Simon Peter arrived and went inside. He also noticed that the linen wrappings lying there.
Then the disciple who had reached the tomb first also went in and saw and believed.
For until then, they hadn't understood the scriptures that said, Jesus must rise from the dead. Then they went home.
Mary was standing outside the tomb, crying, and as she wept, she stopped and looked in, and she saw two white-robed angels, one sitting at the head and the other at the foot of the place where the body of Jesus had been lying.
"Dear woman, why are you crying?" the angels asked her. "Because they have taken away my Lord," she replied, "and I don't know where they have put him."
She turned to leave and saw someone standing there. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him.
"Dear woman, why are you crying?" Jesus asked her. "Who are you looking for?" She thought he was the gardener. "Sir," she said, "if you have taken him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will go and get him."
"Mary," Jesus said. She turned to him and cried out, "Rabboni," which is Hebrew for teacher.
"Don't cling to me," Jesus said, "for I haven't yet ascended to the Father.
But go, find my brothers and tell them,
I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene found the disciples and told them, "I have seen the Lord."